Living in Strathfield was certainly an interesting experience. I mean, it was a bit further out than what we're used to, and it was a 25k commute. But it was really interesting to go and live in a big modern house rather than a kind of the crummy old places we'd been used to. And this place on the surface looked really good when we moved in. It was five bedrooms, two bathrooms, brand new, big block, double car garage. All the mod cons, big kitchen. But boy, what a flimsy gimcrack place it was. In fact, I was amazed when I went past there today to find it was still standing. It was the shoddiest construction I've ever seen, and just everything about it was just absolute flypaper. And if they built that place like the Three Gorges Dam, well, heaven help the Chinese.
I just popped out of the Cooks River path, one little side path, and we used to live up here. Up that roundabout, turn right, and we're on the next corner. So probably about 100 metres from here as the crow flies. And we lived here for 3-4 months, maybe longer. We'd come from another area, and I had no idea the Cooks River path was, I didn't know what it was, I didn't know where it went. But I'd heard about it and read about it, and eventually I looked it up, and I went to try and find out where it was. And this is what I found. And the reason we've never seen it is because these entrances to it are just so well hidden. Like if I go over the other side of the road there and you look back across here, you'd never see it. And of course, you've got to come up that ramp there and come up the path to get on it. I mean, it was unbelievably well hidden. And in fact, I got the council not long ago to trim a tree, which was even hiding that. You couldn't even see it. And of course, this gets completely overgrown as well, so you don't know it's here. So, yeah, it's amazing how we've got some absolute hidden treasures around Sydney like this. Great for walking, taking the kids on the scooter and stuff, or riding. And after I found it, of course, I was on it every day, commuting to and from the city for work. It's about 25 k's each way. It's great. But finding it, that was another matter.
And seriously, when you see how close this our house was to this entrance, you'll be like, how the hell did you never find that? Well, I really have no explanation. I really don't. But, well, that's just the way it was, I guess. Again, the house. Look, I think it really does say everything that's wrong with the Australian property market. The houses around here, they look really nice. They're big, they're imposing. Look like they've been designed by a fancy architect, etc. But simple things like in summer, the air conditioning couldn't keep up with the heat load because we had this huge atrium, and all the glass was paper thin. I mean, it was almost like Glad wrap put over the windows, and the heat just came blasting in through these massive windows, and you just couldn't use half the rooms. You flip it around in winter, and no matter how much heat you tried to pour into the place, well, it just went straight out the windows and you just froze. Stupid things like the garage, whilst it was connected to the house, there was no door to go from the garage into the house. And there was no roof between, there it is, look at it, pretty fancy place, nice brick wall around it. Trim of that hedge was an absolute bugger, I certainly don't miss that. And so you'd come out of the back door of the garage and you had to cross this 6-foot space. Oh, okay, so what? Well, when it rained, there was no roof over that little section to get into the back door. So you'd cross this in a monsoonal downpour. And the idiot that put the drain in for that section out the back had actually put the drain in higher than the surrounding tiles. I mean, it was a good inch above the surrounding land. So it absolutely, and it sloped in towards the house from the lawn. So it flooded. And the water would be up over your ankles. We were lucky it wasn't running in through into the kitchen. So, and all the tiles were peeling off around the house because the cement they used, well, I guess they didn't actually put any cement into it, and nothing stuck. So, after we'd been there a couple of weeks, we're finding all these tiles lying on the ground where they'd just fallen off the walls. It was just absolutely incredible. A real experience. And the exploding bathroom, well, that's another matter. But I learned all about flimsy hoses.
That was an interesting little nostalgic tour. But see, they've still got absolutely no signage out there anywhere to say that Cooks River's down this way. There's just some poles there, and unless you go and have a look, come and walk down here, you'd never find this. It's absolutely unbelievable. At least they've done the path up. This was the world's crappiest path when we lived here. Yeah, just a kind of, I mean, it's nowhere near as well used as the Bay Run is. Probably because no one knows that it's here.
You know, I just remembered how I found the path, and it all has to do with coffee. So the biggest problem with living down here was there was no coffee shop or cafe within walkable distance, or so I thought. We were, 3.5 k's, I think, from the Strathfield shops, which was too far to walk the dogs with a round trip. And I hated cycling up there. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster area. And driving, well, it was a pain because parking was terrible. And I wasn't real sure about all the cafes there anyway. And then one day I happened to look in Google Maps, and I was just scouting out the local area, and I noticed there was a place that sold coffee over the other side of this thing that, I don't know, was 100 metres away, called the Cooks River. And there weren't any real roads that kind of went across to it. So I thought, okay, look, I'll just grab the dogs and go for a walk and see what this place is like. Anyway, so we took the long way round, which was, I don't know, maybe a kilometre, and found this little cafe, and coffee was actually quite good. And on the way back, I noticed that there was a park over the road from the cafe, and on the other side of the park there was this path. So I thought, oh well, I'll just follow that path and see where it goes. And it popped out, well, followed the path for a bit, and then there was this bit that led off. It looked like it went to our place, and that's how I found the pathway. Yeah, all over a cup of coffee. Sadly, that cafe changed hands a few times because they could never make it work, and it's finally gone bust and has been closed for maybe and empty for 6 months, I guess. But that's how I found the Cooks River. I guess these days no one would find it because, well, there's no coffee shop to go looking for. But yeah, great little ride along the Cooks River. Just goes for miles and miles and miles. It's flat as can be because it's next to a canal. And not a hell of a lot of people use it compared to, say, something like the Bay Run or Centennial Park. So yeah, Strathfield, really crummy place to live, but the Bay Run, yeah, not the Bay Run, Cooks River, yeah, do it a couple of times a week and really like it.